Miller is our 20th president at Hamline, and she's in her second year here. So we are excited. This is the first time she's spoken to our group. So we're really excited to hear about her personal story and her vision for philanthropic activities and initiatives at Hamline that will just help secure a bright future for Hamline and all of its students. I was fortunate to hear her during alumni weekend. I think that's what we called it. And I know that we are all in for a treat tonight. So please join me in welcoming.
It's always sort of a delight to be in a room, no offense, men, but very, very strong and accomplished women. So students, take a look at who's around you, what they bring to the table, and learn from them. Because our women have much to teach you, because they have accomplished so very much. Now, when we think about philanthropy and the role of women in philanthropy, that is something that in many ways our nation is fairly new to. Even though women have played a role behind the scenes for so many years, women are no longer behind the scenes. Women are now leading the charge when it comes to philanthropy. And so we're so delighted that you are doing this. I can't tell you enough just what your philanthropy means to this institution. And I was thinking about what on our campus can we point to that is all because of women. We know that the scholarship dollars that many of our students receive, it's because of many of you in this room. Some of you know about the Blue Garden, right? You know what the Blue Garden? The Blue Garden was funded exclusively by women. Exclusively by women. So you can get a sense of just how powerful you are as a group and what you do for this institution on a regular basis. And I simply ask all of you to reach back and make sure that those coming behind you understand the importance of philanthropy. It is one of the things that sometimes I find an issue is when I ask students who are about to graduate, what are they going to do next? And they tell me about the job that they've gotten. They tell me about how they're going to spend the money that they're going to earn. And they don't mention Hamline. And I say to them, where is Hamline in this plan? And their response to me is, oh, but I gotta pay my school loans. I gotta pay my bills. And my response to them is, did you pay the full ride during your studies here at Hamline? Oh no, I got scholarship dollars. Who do you think made it possible for you to receive those scholarship dollars? But to remind them there's a connection between what they're now able to do. It is because of you, it's because of your generosity that they're able to have that job. One even told me, I think I may have told somebody this, she was so thrilled. She got a job and she was buying her first home, 6 bedrooms. Can you tell me? And I'm going, if she could buy a 6-bedroom home, Hamline was really good to her. So she needs to give back. But to really understand that when you give back, you make it possible. You all know this. You make it possible for someone else to succeed. You make it possible for someone else to take what's been presented to them here and turn it into opportunities. That's what we're all about here. We make things possible for students to have the kind of future that we need them to have, that we want them to have. So it is so important what you're doing. It is so important that you also let others understand and appreciate what this is all about. what we do in Hamline here very seriously. We want our students to be leaders in every possible way. You know, I get asked the question all the time, why Hamline? I've been here now for over a year, and that question, I'm going, why not Hamline? You know, I mean, really, think about it. When people ask you why Hamline, why not Hamline? Think about what it is you have accomplished as a result of going through Hamline. And those of you who are still here, what you will accomplish. Think about what your classmates have accomplished as a result of getting a Hamline degree. But also think about the values that you take with you. That's very much a part of Hamline. Think about the intellectual curiosity that's very much a part of this institution. And you know, I just got the, I was just told of the pass rate of our students in accounting on the national exam, which is consistent with the pass rate from last year. Of the MPCC schools, actually not just MPCC, they have one of the highest pass rates of the national accounting exam in the nation. That tells you the faculty here are doing an incredible job with our students. It tells you a lot. It also tells you about the quality of the programs that are here. And it means that when the students leave here, they know the stuff so well that they don't just pass, they excel. That's what all of you help make possible. So why wouldn't I want to be in a place where students do well academically? Why wouldn't I want to be in a place where all of our students are told what they can do, regardless of their gender, regardless of their race, regardless of their class or their sexuality? All of them are told, you can do whatever you want to do. You can be whatever you want to be. And the faculty mean it. Why wouldn't I want to be in a place where the faculty care about the students in that way? Of course, you'd want to be in a place like that. Why wouldn't you want to be in a place where the students are committed to the community in which the institution is located and the communities outside our boundaries, where they're engaged in service at a very high rate? I believe last year, if the data is correct, we clocked about 190,000 hours that our students gave back to the community. That's extraordinary. Extraordinary. Why wouldn't you want to be in a place where civic engagement means so much? It's more than just lip service. It's a part of the fabric of the institution. Why wouldn't you want to be in a place where we don't just talk about inclusion, we walk the walk? It's a part of who we are. Why wouldn't you want to be in a place where social justice isn't just a code word or rhetoric? It really is a part of the curriculum in so many ways. So I see myself as a lucky one, as being a part of this extraordinary community. And I sometimes I get up in the morning and go, wow, heaven chose me. Wow, I can't believe that they did that. To me, I am honored and blessed to be a part of this community, a part of the community that you have nurtured, that you continue to nurture. A community that is very much a part of the fabric of Minnesota. You've already heard about the history that goes back to the Soaring Sisters. And we can give you other history as well, because the history is an extraordinary history. The Hamline history is a Minnesota history. Now, I was just at the installation of the new president of St. Catherine's, and they had the University of Minnesota representative, 2 people ahead of me. And I reminded her, yes, you had your charter, but you had no students. We had our charter and we had students and we had females. among that class. So who wouldn't want to be a place with a history that's like that? So our current students, you have big shoes to fill. But I'm not worried about you filling those shoes, because you're going to fill those shoes and create another pair and fill those too. So this is a great place. We build the future together, all of us. But one of the things that we have not done well, how many of you in here knew about our students' pass rate on an accounting exam? You were in the program, or in business. And you're a current student, you ought to know this. You didn't know that. You didn't know that. How many of you know that we produce some of the best scientists in this state? How many of you know that? Yeah. We know it. How many of our friends know it? How many of you are helping us tell the story about this extraordinary institution? I'm asking you to help us tell that story. I say things, and it's actually now appeared on t-shirts. Because I've seen the students walking around with it. And I say, we're Minnesota nice, but Hamline proud. So you've seen this t-shirt that says Hamline proud. First time I saw it, I went, oh. We're Hamline proud. And it means when you're Hamline proud, you yell from the rafters about just how good we are. And how good we will always be. Because we have students like you who were here, and I think the tunnels had shut down and some of you were here, and you didn't get to go underneath. But we have students like you who are making a difference every single day. And that means a lot to us. But you're making a difference at Hamline as well. Do know that. You're making a difference at Hamline as well. Our class, you've heard me say that our class this year, we're 40% first generation. We're very proud of that. And this year's class, I think, is 35% students of color and Native American. We're very proud. Our lacrosse players, do you all know that I check your GPAs? You know that? Yeah. I check the GPAs of every athlete on this campus. Because you are a scholar first and an athlete second. And we want to make sure that you excel. The last time I checked your GPA, your average GPA was 3.8. That's extraordinary. That means you understand why you're here. You're here to be a student. But we also want you to engage in all those activities that are important to being a student. That's being an athlete, being a part of HUSC. All of those are programming board, the executive committee, the chair, the president of the chemistry group. We want you to do that because that's another way in which you learn. You're taking on leadership roles. And like your fellow pipers in the room, who are also leaders, some of their ability to lead, they learned here. In some of the very same roles that you now occupy. Now, they didn't play lacrosse, because that's new. But some of the other things, HUSC, chairing the academic clubs, all those kinds of things, they learned here. That's why they can go out and lead the way in which they need to lead. Our graduate students, those who went to our graduate school and law school, I don't want to leave you out. Because we know that you are leaders in your fields because of your Hamline experience. So I look at my friend over there, Gwen, I know she's a law alum. I know it's not Mitchell Hamline. Should have been Hamline Mitchell. But they didn't allow me to come until after they'd already made this decision on the day. And you know, and although Cindy's now the board chair, she would have been saying, Fayneese, sit down and shut up. We've already made this decision. No, Cindy would not have been telling me that, because she'd be telling me, go ahead, I got your back. But you know, we don't want to forget our law loans, or our MBA loans, or our public health and public administration loans. We don't want to forget any of it, or our education loans, who are at the graduate level, or creative writing. All of those programs are important in this institution. And this year, we have a MacArthur Fellow among our community. One of our faculty received the MacArthur. The MacArthur is considered a genius award. It's a whole boatload of money that they get with that. I think we should stop paying his salary again. He doesn't need it. Or if he's getting his salary, we should tell him to donate it. He doesn't need his salary. They get a whole boatload of money for, I think, 5 years. But it's a prestigious award. But that's not the only thing that we have that we can celebrate that our faculty are doing. We have Lifelong Down, who I think has 38 patents, who's in our physics department. We have faculty who are getting the National Book Awards, the Prince Award, all of those other kinds of awards. Our education faculty in our English as a Second Language program just got a $1.5 million grant from the U.S. Department of Education. I could go on and on and on and on and on. We have a new Center for Justice and Law. The Mal is now headed. We have incredible stuff going on here. And you know what? You will all help to make it possible for us. You'll help to make it possible. And I cannot thank you enough. So again, why wouldn't someone want to be a part of this incredible community? Why wouldn't they? When I see these students, I see our future. I see my future. I see their future. I see this institution's future. And students, I'm saying to you tonight, when you graduate Hamline, not should it be a part of your financial planning, Hamline better be a part of your financial planning. You know, people tend to think, and I'm going to talk to the students, people tend to think, I got to make a lot of money before I can give, and then they forget to give when they make the money. You start with what you can do. Just think about it. If you set aside $10 a month initially, that grows. That grows. But your $10 a month compared with added to your colleagues' $10 a month adds up very quickly. And once you get in the habit of giving, that amount goes up. Because now you see the importance of it, of giving. And then you get invited back to events like this, where you can then talk about your commitment to this institution and how important this institution has been for your future. So this is an incredible place with an extraordinary history. A history that I hope all of you are very proud of. I know that I am. I'm extremely proud of this history. So there are a couple of things that I want to just mention tonight. One, if you went to President's Circle dinner, you've heard me talk about the fact that we are in the feasibility stage of a comprehensive campaign. The last comprehensive campaign for Hamline University ended in 2004. We had a capital campaign that was for the Anderson building. It was capital only. It was not comprehensive, which means that there were no scholarship dollars involved in that. There were no program dollars involved in that. There were no endowed professorships. There was no facilities outside of that building a part of that. Well, an institution's reputation is built on the strength of its financial house, and that includes its endowment. Just think about Macalester and St. Thomas, two institutions. McAllister, I think, received what? Was it over $300 million from Reader's Digest? That changed that institution. Their curriculum is no different from ours. What the students accomplish is no different from what our students accomplish. Their difference is they have the money to do things that we should be doing as well. So, as you begin to think about the campaign and your role in the campaign, think about what you'd like to see as part of your legacy at this institution. Think about that. The other thing is our Heritage Society. I think it's celebrating the 25th anniversary coming up. And that's a part of estate planning. Think about your estate. You start thinking about that now. But think about that, your estate, and what you can do for him. We will only be as good as our faculty, as our students, as our alums, and everybody's commitment to this institution. So am I standing here asking you to open up your wallets? If you want to, go right ahead. But what I am standing up here doing is thanking you for your commitment to this institution. Thanking you for making it possible. So men, I'm not going to forget you, because we thank you too. And you know what? Isn't it nice to be the minority in the community? I'm used to that. And now I hope you feel it. But you're surrounded by extraordinary women. But you know that already, because you were married to an alum. So you know them. You know how extraordinary the Hamline women are. We make you better. So I'm going to just stop here. There's a lot more that I could tell you about what's going on in this institution, but I hope you believe that I have, and you know that I have the best interests of this institution at heart. I hope you have faith in my ability to lead this institution the way in which we all want it to be led. I hope you will be a partner with me as we do the work that needs to be done. Remember, no one person can do it. No one person should be viewed as the savior, because it's a community that leads an institution forward. It's no one individual. It is not the great woman theory. It's a zeitgeist. The zeitgeist is a whole community. That's what it is. So it's all of you working with us to make this community great. So while I ask lots of you, one thing I am going to push you on is to join us in telling the story. Join us in celebrating the excellence of this institution. Join us in celebrating you. And it's okay if you talk about yourself. We want you to talk about yourself. And the other thing I'm going to ask you is tell me your stories. Tell us on this campus your stories so we can retell your story. There's nothing I like better than to go out and tell a Hamline story. And one of the stories I tell, there are lots of stories I tell, but one of them I tell, because usually people can identify with it or they know. And they're talking and I say, you remember the overhead projector? And they all say yes. I said, do you know that's a Hamline grad who developed a patent for that? Did you know that? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was a Hamline grad. So when I talk about the rich history of this place and how Hamline grads have changed the fabric of this nation, believe it. And there's other stories that I can tell you about Hamline grads and their role in NASA and spacecraft. There's all kinds of stories I can tell you because it's an incredible history and one that we should be talking about. So I am delighted that you're here with us tonight. I thank you for your generosity because you've heard me say over and over again, and I'm going to repeat it, because without you, we couldn't do all the things that we're able to do here at Hamline. Without you, our students wouldn't realize all the possibilities that await them. They wouldn't realize it. Without you, they wouldn't be able to take advantage of the opportunities that are out there, going and studying on another campus, doing research with faculty at Research One institutions. Without you, there's so much that they wouldn't be able to do. But imagine when you see a student who gets that big smile on their face and their eyes light up because they've discovered just what they can do. I don't know if there's a better feeling than that. I love these kids. Probably shouldn't call you all kids. But forgive me, I was born a long time ago. But you know, I think you all know just how important you are to those of us who are here and how much we want you to succeed. We want that for you. That's our hope for you. Those are our dreams for you. And I know you're going to go out and do it. I know you are. So, alums, friends, thank you. From the bottom of our heart, we thank you. Students, just so you remember, if you have not registered to vote, you can now do it on the day, the election day. If you do, and we beat the other schools, you know I've challenged the others to add another gift to our Opportunity Scholarship Fund. Now, all of you know how much I like clothes and jewelry and shoes and handbags. I'm willing to forego all those things. So register to vote if you have not already done so. This is an extraordinary time right now. I'm not telling you how to vote, I'm telling you to vote. And I don't mind being a little poor and having Gwen and Brenda and Cindy feed me for a while. It's okay. And so with that, I am going to take my seat and just again, I don't know who comes up, Carrie, just to say, what do you want me to do? Take some questions. Of course I'll take questions. Thank you, okay.
Are there questions, Mr. President?
Yes.
I'm the class of 1973. My question is, I would agree with you, Hamline's a great place to be, and it did shape me, it shaped my husband and a son, and perhaps now our daughter-in-law will find some Hamline things that she hasn't known about yet, because she's going to be a student here soon. But I guess my question is, you know, you're relatively new here and you're shouting the praises of Hamline, but you've been a long-time educator. You've been other places. What sets Hamline apart from other places that you've been? And I don't mean that in a judgmental way.
Yeah. I spent, as many of you know, 20 years of my career at Brown University and 10 years at the University of Vermont. The student bodies are different. That's one thing. The majority of my students in Brown, very, very good students, very few on financial aid. Brown is a different place, and the students didn't see themselves as privileged. I taught a class on race, class, gender, and sexuality. And one of the first things I did was ask them to go out and do a sort of a walk around campus and ask people their class status. And the students at Brown said they were middle class. They were middle class. But that's what they thought of themselves, is middle class. You know, I think there's a hunger here with the students that you don't necessarily see other places. There is an appreciation for what they're receiving. They don't take it for granted that you don't see other places. And because our faculty are not, don't live and die based on the number of research articles they publish, although they are extraordinary researchers. So I don't want to take that, but they do research. Many at the level that you can see in a research one. They don't do it with the exclusion of their students. It's often done with students. And I think that that's something that sets Hamline apart. If you go back and look at the history of Hamline, when Hamline started, we now talk about all this stuff as high impact practices. You know, faculty and students engaged in internships and practica and research. I don't know how many of you had Oli. Oli almost invented that concept. Because I talked to some of his students who are long retired, who were doing research with Oli back then. So that's Hamline. Always bringing the students into the conversation, into the lab, into the classroom in a really good and productive way. I think that's one of the things that sets Hamline apart. Hamline really truly cares about the students. It's more than just rhetoric. It's true. It's genuine. You know, women don't usually sit quietly. Not the women I know, and I have two sisters, and they're never quiet on anything. No other questions? Yes. She has another, oh, you're over here, okay.
What are you most excited about in Hamline for the next couple of years?
Oh, I will tell you, I mean, that's one of the things I'm most excited about with Hamline is where we're going academically. The programs that we're undergoing academic review, and there's some excitement there in terms of new programs we might be doing. There's some excitement there in terms of how do we begin to position ourselves in terms of identifying areas of excellence. All of that I think is very exciting for Hamline right now. We haven't talked about areas of excellence before, at least not that I know of. We're being very deliberate now in talking about areas of excellence, and that's pretty exciting to have that conversation and be able to put it out there the way